Hi folks, Judy here from East Texas Living. Wrapping up this video, showing y'all these raised beds that I have been putting together over the course of a few weeks. And I don't know if y'all can tell, I'll bring the camera around to show you, but this is the Birdies. And again, I will bring the camera down to show you when I get to planting. But these are the Birdies brand. Pardon the road noise there. So I'll bring the camera down just a little bit to show y'all. I'm 5'2", so it might give you an idea of where these would hit you if you were that tall or taller. So I'll bring the camera down. I should say that short or shorter. Okay, so again, I'm 5'2", and this is the Birdies bed. This is the tall one. I would say at least 36 inches tall, because it's every bit a double of those shorter ollies that are 17 inches tall. So anyway, you definitely don't have to bend over hardly at all if you're a shorty. And even if you're taller, what a huge difference that would make in your back at the end of the day. So I'm going to further bring the camera in and show y'all. I'm going to be starting some seeds this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. It's starting to ramp up on the heat side here in Texas, although we're going to get a cold front this weekend. But I'm getting to the point where I'm running out of time to start any calendula. Calendula really doesn't like hot temperatures, but I'm going to go ahead and take a chance, and some chamomile. And this is going to be my herb and flower garden for the most part in these raised beds. I keep getting distracted by traffic going down our road. They've been running that forestry mulcher out here, so clearing the right-of-ways by the power line. So pardon the noise if you pick up some of that. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to be starting today. Some calendula, some chamomile. I'm going to start, let's see, some marigolds. Marigolds are great in your garden. You know, it doesn't make your garden bulletproof, but they are great to plant around the perimeter of your garden. They kind of help with pest management in a natural way. Been doing that for years. I did that even when I gardened in Oregon. Although these Texas bugs seem a little more radical than up there. Up there we just had to worry about slugs eating everything. But anyway, so with all that said, I'm going to get some of these mixed up. And before I start that process, I will bring y'all in a little closer so you can see what we got going on here. And I'm planting Haas calendula seeds. Been very happy with Haas's seeds. Never had a problem with them germinating. They've always been really good quality stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna bring the camera in just a little bit closer so y'all can see. All right, so no top secret seed starting mix. I went for the finest stuff I could find, and I mixed in a little bit of that perlite. It helps with drainage. Wet these down, mashed everything down, and now we will come back over the top with some very, very fine planting mix. And this has peat moss, coconut coir, vermiculite, and it's really, really fine. It's from Jiffy Organic, supposedly. So you can see how incredibly fine that stuff is. It's almost like powder. So hopefully it'll be good for these little seeds. So I'm going to do an entire tray of calendula, and then I'll probably do an entire tray of chamomile. And then I have the marigolds. I probably will close off the video and not bring y'all along for all of this, but anyway, that's what we're going to do. So have this handy dandy planting tool. You could use a pencil. Again, pardon the noise. Seems like once we moved in here, the noise level just went up tenfold. It was always very quiet on this road, and I may have mentioned in one of my earlier videos that there's a lot of speculation in our local world about this whole lithium exploration that these oil companies may be doing in the Cass County, Northeast Texas region. I sure the heck hope not. I'm not anti-progress, and I certainly drive a car that runs on fossil fuels and all of that, but you know, not something I counted on when we bought this property. Again, it's it's called the Smackover Formation. It starts up in Arkansas and runs down in this northeast corner of Texas. And I don't know, this is kind of a somewhat impoverished region around here from what I've noticed of living here. And it seems like these big companies that want to drill for this stuff, when they get a clue, it's like, it's always those kind of areas. So calendula seeds, if y'all have never planted them, they're kind of funny shaped. They kind of look like little kind of almost like little worms or something. But anyway, that's what they're shaped like. So we'll just drop them down in, and hopefully we can get some of these little critters going. When we moved in last summer, there wasn't a whole lot I could get accomplished in such a short amount of time because the heat just immediately started. You know, we're talking 100-degree temps, and you know, it's Texas. You know, it's not a very mild climate, and even in the wintertime it can be a little harsh. But anyway, I had big plans to get a big garden going this year, and still just lacking a lot of infrastructure. And I just decided this morning I got to forgive myself that I'm not going to be able to get it all done and be a superstar. And I'm going to plant a few things, some things I already have in the ground. I've got carrots going. I'll be getting peas in the ground. I did plant peas already, and they got washed away. We had quite a heavy rainstorm about a week ago, so it washed everything out that I had planted. So I got to start over on those. I still have time. And I've got some onions in the ground. Next year I hope to do more of a container garden, just because as we all get a little older, it's not as easy bending over and killing your back putting everything in the ground. And I think too, you can kind of control everything a little bit better in a container garden. And so I'll be doing a lot more mineral tubs next year. And but this year I would have gone broke trying to get soil in those. So what I will do next year, I certainly am going to have me a good compost pile going. And I just straight up just didn't have time to get all that done. You know, you can only do what you can do. And, you know, kind of had to just let it go, you know, forgive myself. But it's a process when you buy bare land and you're trying to get everything established that you don't have. You just take for granted when you live in a place that has all of those things. But I certainly don't miss Houston at all. At all. So I'm thankful we are here. At the end of the day, we're both worn out, but we're so happy that we got out of there. And I would say to anybody that wants to get out of the city, you know, I understand when you're young, you've got to work, and sometimes that's where the best paying jobs are. But as you get a little older, it's like none of us have the patience for that stuff anymore, and the traffic and the people. So anyway, that's my bit on that. So thought I brought me a marker out here. I did, yay. Okay, since this whole tray is calendula, I'm just gonna mark on my spoon here and put that it's Haas seeds, and we'll just go like that. And then I will sprinkle these with some water as we get done, and I'll show y'all that. Well, I won't show you that, but I'll do that at the end, and I'm sure y'all know how to gently water some seeds in. So now this here, we'll go with some, let's see, chamomile. That's what we're going to plant in here. You know, one thing I've been hearing, a lot of people say, oh, you can't sprout comfrey from seed. It only has to be a root cutting. Well, that certainly hadn't been my experience, and I'll tell you why. I bought some of them root cuttings, and they've grown great. And I grew them in Houston. They were in pots, they bloomed, and the seeds fell down on the ground. And then lo and behold, I had comfrey growing up in my yard, which was fine. I dug a bunch of it up and brought it with us. But in my opinion, you can certainly grow that stuff from seed. So that is a fallacy in my opinion. All right, so now we're going to go with the chamomile, and again, that's Haas seed also. These, all of these, I'm going to put them up in my greenhouse. Ooh-wee, these are small, small, small. I'll put these up in my greenhouse. They'll be a little more protected. We are supposed to have a cold front this weekend. These are so tiny. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of those in each one. Hopefully I'm not getting these too deep. It says 1/4 of an inch, so I think we're good. I mean, with that, because I'm only going to put just a light dusting of that planting mix over the top. And that's almost a wrap on these. Get that off my finger. I'm going to attempt to pour these back in here. Whatever I don't get off, that will just end up on this tray. There we go. And these should be fine, and I can use them again next spring. Now, my seeds, I typically store them. I've been storing them in old coffee cans, and I keep them in the house to where they're climate controlled. So that's what I do. And I've not had any problem with seeds not germinating. Now, you know, do you need to keep them for 10 years? Probably not. But some people, when they keep seed, they'll even go so far to put it in their freezer and keep it much longer. I've never done that. I tend to use all my stuff up, or I save seed, and which is a good way to save some money as well. So, all right, and that's our chamomile. And when I mist a little water over the top of this, that will kind of all settle in and be all happy. So this is some of my herb and flower garden that you're getting to see. Chamomile, Haas. Can't read my own writing. That's pretty sad. All right, folks. So I'm going to bring the camera back up and kind of take y'all on a little tour of these beds so y'all can see. Again, this tall one here that I'm standing next to, this is the Birdie's brand, and this was my favorite. I did get these on a clearance. It was their previous year's model, and I got a coupon code, and it was a good deal. And so I have no complaints about these. The plastic coating on the outside was much easier to peel off, and they're taller, but you know, they're a little spendier, and so I could only afford to get 3 of these. Maybe someday I'll be able to get a few more. The Ollies, they're nice too, just for a different height variety. And again, I got a coupon code on those, got a significant discount on those. My only complaint with those was their plastic they had on them was just horrible to peel off. So anyway, I'll bring y'all along and show you a little bit of tour of those. That gives you a little bit of an idea. Pardon me here. So you can kind of see the height difference, hopefully, between this Birdie. Yeah, so there's the Birdie, and this is the Olle. So 17 inches tall. This has got to be at least double that. So my preference is these. All right, so hopefully y'all enjoyed this little tour of the raised garden beds. I'm really excited about them. I think they look really nice as you pull up into the driveway. I think they'll look even nicer once I have the flowers and everything growing in them. Again, this is going to be my herb and flower garden. Hopefully the deer don't like them just as much, but we don't typically see too many deer up in this area. But if we do, then I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I know in the past when I lived in Oregon, I had some strawberries out in my yard in the back, and I lived in a rural area out in the country, and I know the strawberries were just that close from popping, and the deer apparently knew they were too, and so they were nice little treats for them. One night came out the next morning and they were just mowed down to nothing. So that's life of living around critters like that. So it's just the way it goes, but I guess they got to eat too. But anyway, if I do notice any deer activity out here, I'll get a fence around this and hopefully stave off some of that. But anyway, folks, hope y'all enjoyed seeing this today, and I'm just really excited about these. I'm so happy that I bought them, and next year I'll be happy to get more container gardening going for the vegetable garden next year. And each year I think it will get better as we build out this place, and hopefully y'all enjoy coming along for the ride. And later today, I've got to finish rigging up a crude solar-powered system to power a pump, a DC pump, on an IBC tote up here by the vegetable garden. I did the same thing down here for the berry patch last year. Not hard. I had to really study and understand all this stuff, but definitely not hard. But now, basic. I'm not getting into putting panels in series or parallel or any of that stuff. I'm just basic applications I can handle. So anyway, I'll probably show y'all that once I get it all set up. And anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this today, and till next time, y'all keep the faith, and we'll see you on the next one. So there's a final shot of these beds. They look really nice, and you can get an idea of how much taller those Birdie's beds are than the Olle 17 inchers.